I open to all that is. It brings me to my knees. I surrender. I am peace. As I say a tender yes to everything that comes to me, my heart is open. I am free. I open to all that is. It brings me to my knees. I surrender. I am peace. As I say a tender yes to everything that comes to me, my heart is open. I am free. I open to all that is. It brings me to my knees. I surrender. I am peace. As I say yes, I know that my heart is open. As I say yes, I know that I am at peace. And as I say yes, I know that I am free. For there is only one life. That life is God. That life is God. And we are all connected to that one life. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, there is only the one life. For there is no disconnect or separation. There is only God in each and everything, each and every experience, each and every situation. And for that, I am grateful. I am grateful, and I bless today's service. For I know that right now, right here, we are all together in one thought, in one community, lifting up the praises of God, knowing that we are all individualized expressions of God, living and breathing and existing right in this moment. So I give thanks. I give thanks that I woke up this morning. I give thanks that my body is moving. I give thanks that I am still able to breathe and live and be. I give thanks. I give thanks for our speaker. I give thanks for our board and our choir. I give thanks for our tech people. I give thanks for our volunteers. I give thanks for each and every person that is listening, that is watching, that is tuning in, that is sharing our message. For our message has always been that of love. I give thanks. And I release these words, allowing them to be, allowing them to drift off into the universe and come back to us tenfold, over and over again. release, I let go, and so it is.
As I say a tender yes to everything that comes to me, my heart is open, I am free. I open to all that is. It brings me to my knees. I surrender. I am peace. I surrender. I am peace. I surrender. I am peace.
Yes, I surrender, and I am peace. Good morning, East Bay, and thank you for tuning in to our Sunday morning celebration. If you are desiring prayer, our practitioners are available to support you. If you would like a practitioner to pray for you, please contact us after this service. At this time, we will recite God is the only power. Please say it with me in unison. God is the only power in my life. Nothing from without can touch the perfect life of God within me. I am a perfect child of God, and nothing that anyone has ever done or said can interfere with my divine inheritance. The power of God is greater than any circumstance in my life. The strength of God is mine to use. Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy, I discover that all that I need is within me right now. As I forgive the past, I find that I have nothing to atone for and nothing to walk away from. Casting off the old me, I discover my true self. I take dominion in my life. Old habits have no power over me. Conditions have no power over me. Personalities have no power over me. I take dominion. I am whole, I am free, I am complete, now and forevermore, and so it is. Yes. Yes, now and forevermore, I am free. We are free. And right in this moment, it is my sincere pleasure and delight to step aside and welcome our speaker of the day. Rev Dereca, or as we lovingly call her, the Irreverent Reverend, not only comes to us with her Stanford intellect, her background in community building, and her heart of gold, she also brings to us her strong and steadfast soul. Rev Dereca puts the spirit in spiritual and the act in activism. I am so glad and so honored to welcome East Bay's own Rev Dereca Blackmon.
Thank you so much, Ona. It is my great pleasure to be with you today. As has been said, my name is Rev Dereca Blackmon, and I use she and they pronouns. And I always like to let you know what my gender pronouns are because you can't tell what they are by looking at me. I'm so glad you decided, of all the places you could be right now, to be with us here at East Bay Church. And just know that wherever you are, we are right there with you. I'm so grateful for all the amazing people in this community who build a place, a shelter, a balm for times such as these when we realize we need each other more than we ever knew. And so I'm grateful for our board, our ministers, our practitioners, our volunteers, the folks who are out praying right now, to the folks who are out every week feeding our folks who are without homes. I'm grateful for our children's ministry and for all the places where we serve in this world. I'm grateful for the small but mighty crew that shows up every Sunday to make sure we look good and sound good. So Brett and JJ are here, and Arlene makes sure we're here, and we have a whole team of people praying this service up. And last but certainly not least, I want to give my thanks to our women's ensemble, who has come to us today to bless us in song and lift us with a joyful spirit. Bring us the power of our ancestors for this moment when we know we need our strength. And so I bring to you our women's ensemble, led by our own beloved Sharon D. Henderson. And this is a group of women that I have known for a long, long time. And I welcome Deborah Tesdale, and I welcome Fabiana Crenshaw, and I welcome Martha Mangle. And also I give thanks for Mark Rickey on piano, on keys, and Lee Henderson on bass. Our East Bay Church Women's Ensemble blesses us with Ella's song.
We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Until the killing of black men, black mother sons, is as important as the killing of white men, white mother sons. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. To me, young people come first. They have the courage where we fail. And if I could but shed some light as they carry us through the gale. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Struggling myself don't mean a whole lot. I've come to realize that teaching others to stand up and fight is the only way we will survive. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. I'm a woman who speaks in a voice, and I must be heard. At times I can be quite difficult, but I'll bow to no man's word. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes.
Oh, yes. We cannot rest. The East Bay Women's Ensemble. I want to give thanks for Sharon D. Henderson, Deborah Tisdale, Fabiana Crenshaw, Martha Mangle, Mark Rickey on keys, and Lee Henderson on bass. So beautiful. We cannot rest. I want to welcome you again. We're going to have some real talk today. You know, they call me the Irreverent Reverend for a reason. And so I'm going to ask you to just hold on tight. All right, my talk today is the protest and the pulpit. And it's going to get a little rough because these are rough times. But I promise if you stick with me, we all going to come together in the end. It's going to be about love, but it's going to start with some truth. 400 years is too long to wait for justice. In August of 1619, enslaved Africans came to this country on an ocean of horror in our chains. We learned as enslaved people that we had to be careful, that we had to keep our heads and our eyes down and our voices low so you wouldn't lynch us or sell our children. We worked hard in the fields growing your crops. We worked hard cleaning your toilets and raising your children and carrying your bags. And we learned to be silent. Even when you burned crosses on our lawns and took our land and destroyed our businesses. We try to win your respect by fighting in your battlefields for your wars, fighting in your courts and in your classrooms and in your labs and your business. And you always made it so clear that we weren't just good enough. We played hard on your baseball diamonds and your football fields and your basketball courts, on your tennis courts and your golf courses and the boxing rings. We worked so hard, and even as we did sometimes, you called us animals and told us we shouldn't be there. We performed for you on your stages and your nightclubs, in your concert halls. Sometimes we had to eat in the kitchen and enter in the back door, and sometimes you stole our music and we died penniless as you left our fortune to your children. We marched peacefully, and you spit on us, and you turned your hoses and your dogs, and you blew up our children as they went to church. And it hurts. It hurts. Now you say, come on, Rev, we're not going to go there today. This is church. We need some hope and some uplifting. And I say, yes, we do. We're going to get there. But it's time for truth. It's time for accountability because the world is heating up, and I am not a climate change denier. I am not going to sit here and tell you that the pain is not real. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there is not a global threat to our very existence, because it's obvious like it never has been before. We have got to come together and do something about this disease of racism before it destroys all of us. So I'm going to tell the truth now. And you know that it's coming from a place of hurt, but it's time, like they did in South Africa, for us to tell the truth so we can have some reconciliation. You put our children in prisons with grown men. You locked us up for life. For sometimes the petty crimes, and sometimes when we didn't even do anything at all. And when you found out you were mistaken, you let us out and sent us with the clothes we came in with. You put us in solitary confinement for years and left us there to lose our whole minds. We put our hands up. We put our hands up, and you shot us anyway. We begged for our lives, and you choked the breath out of us. You came in, guns blazing, into our house, and our babies got killed in their sleep, and you didn't even apologize when you found out it was the wrong address. We gonna tell the truth today? You blame us when you murder us. And then you pretend like it's because of something that happened in our past and we not good people, and you didn't know any of that. You just saw that we were black or brown or poor or revolutionary. And now you have the nerve, the gumption, the unmitigated gall to call us violent because we break some windows, to call us thieves who you stole from our homeland because we took a television, to call your armies on us because we refuse to go inside when you say so. But you pass laws that say you can stand your ground against anybody who tries to hurt you. You show up at your marches with guns and torches and burn your cities after a hockey victory and take your serial killers safely into custody. Today, I come to rebuke you like Matthew 7:5. You hypocrites, you take that log out, that beam out of your own eye, and then maybe you can see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. But that's not my message today. See, we're talking about not just the protest, we're talking about the pulpit. The message today is that we are people of faith. We know that God is great, and we truly believe that love is stronger than hate, that light will drive out the darkness. We are people of God, and we are not afraid of you and we are not alone. Your children are with us. Your women warriors came to the front of our lines so they could stand between us and the forces of hate. We are not alone in this. Your elderly march with us, and even as you knock them to the ground and leave them laying bleeding, they say, I shall come back and march again. We are not alone. See, there's some confusion going on about who's in the majority. I'm going to tell you that I saw 20 people march in Berea, Kentucky, and I saw thousands march in Paris, France. We are not alone. This is our time. This is the time Sam Cooke sang about when he said a change is going to come. 400 years is too long to wait for justice. And so now we come together as we have never come together before to ensure that this moment is not lost. Even your own brethren are starting to grow tired of your unjust racist wars, and they have begun to lay down their shield. I'm telling you that a new day is dawning, and we who believe in freedom will not rest. And in the words of our Pulitzer Prize-winning poet, who is the profound voice of a whole generation, Kendrick Lamar said, we gonna be all right. Now, I want to take a minute to talk to the people of faith, to the people who believe in freedom. I want to thank you for taking to the streets in droves. I want to thank you for showing up and resisting like David facing Goliath with nothing but rocks in our pockets. I want to thank you for challenging your friends and your family on social media with their excuses and their blindness and their apathy and their white fragility. I appreciate you for the way you stand. I want to thank you because I see you making your corporate statements and giving donations to people who are working for freedom and Black-owned businesses who have been forgotten for too long. I want to thank you. It heals my heart. But I also want to say to you that this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And what we need is we need you to continue to stand with us when the cameras go off. We've been fighting for a long, long time. Fannie Lou Hamer said she was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And my brother Stevie Wonder said, if you really want to hear our views, you haven't done nothing. We sick and tired of hearing your song telling us how you was going to change right from wrong. But if you really want to hear our views, it's not enough. It's not enough because the system hasn't changed. It's not enough because the police officer who led the lynching posse is still in power. There's more for us to do. I need for you to stand for us like you stand for the environment. I am hurt when I say this, but I want you to protect us like you protect your animals. Because I'm going to tell you what, it hurts to say this, but you and I both know that if the police were out here shooting dogs, they would have been in jail a long time ago. That's real talk. We're going to have to get real with each other because we need more than sympathy. We need commitment. We need dedication. We need that kind of thinking that says we who believe in freedom shall not rest. When it was Me Too, oh, you took down all the heroes. From Kevin Spacey to Matt Lauer, you went after all of them. And what we need right now is for you to get out here and tell these racist police officers time's up. It's time up. No more, no longer. Not one more day, not one more life, not one more person. Time's up. We got to work together now. It's our time to come together. All of that happened in the past, all of that hurt, we're not just going to get over it tomorrow. We got to take care of ourselves right now because Reverend E said on our prayer call, behind all the anger is hurt. And black folks, we got to take care of ourselves and each other right now. Sometimes we need to find one person, not a lot of people, that we can get a hug from. Sometimes we've got to go within to that quiet, peaceful space where God is. Sometimes we got to listen to something that inspires us. Sometimes we have to forgive. Because when we don't forgive, we're all in a prison. And I have to stand guard like a prison guard over you so that you won't be let go from my consciousness, but it leaves me constrained. It leaves me sick. It leaves me stressed. So I need to go to the place within myself that knows that I know that I know that there is a force stronger than even this, and it is never tired. I have to go to my source now, to the thing that moved mountains and moved my people out of bondage, like the folks who were freed from bondage at the Pharaoh when Moses came and said, "Let my people go. Let my people go." We got to work together now. We have to work together now because we are confident, we are sure that we can overcome this morally bankrupt authority with every breath in our body. We got to stop the infighting and what I like to call the progressive cannibalism. You know, we on the left and the far left are mad about who's farthest left, and that's real. But in a time like this, we are going to have to combine our voting power and get out these racists and sexists and homophobes and transphobes politicians. It's time up. They got to go. We got to combine our spending power, right? And start to divest our money from businesses who support these oppressive institutions. We need to come together now. We got to organize and strategize on how to make these police, who we pay with our tax dollars, they work for us. We have to make them accountable to treat us with dignity and respect. Oh, come on, Rev, you know all the police aren't bad. Let me tell you something. If a teacher hears the teacher next door abusing a student and she does nothing, is she still a good teacher? I say no. I say the whole system is guilty until each person is willing to take accountability for right and divine action, even there. We're going to have to break down the blue wall of silence. Come on, good police officers. If that's who you are, if that's what you are, then lay down your shield and sword and be an officer of peace. Remember that? Remember when we used to call them peace officers and they came from our neighborhoods and they helped get your cat out the tree? Now, some of us black folks, we might not ever remember that. But you remember that. Mr. Friendly. Right? That is our job now, to say, you work for us. Or many of us saying, we could just get rid of them altogether. And I know, but who we gonna call when something bad happens to us? Well, I'll tell you what, we already just scared to call. Because what happens to us when they show up is worse than what was happening before they got there. We who believe in freedom will not rest. Now, some of you know that my story involves a history of spiritual activism. I was one of a group of people who formed an organization in 2009 called the Coalition Against Police Executions, because no one person should get to be the judge, jury, and executioner when the crime hasn't even been proven. So we formed that organization, and we called people together after Oscar Grant III was killed by transit police here in Oakland, one of the first times that it was caught on video. And I know for me, I've been working on issues of police brutality since 2003. And I guess I thought that if people knew what was happening, they would make it stop. But here we are in the age of the video camera, and even the people who are protesting police brutality are being brutalized. And this is all the people, no matter what shade or color or age that they are. And so I recall working on the organizing for Oscar Grant, and I remember a day when I stood in the BART board meeting, and the chief of police for BART was there, and I looked at him and I said, let me tell you what I believe. I believe that this is the beginning of the end of police brutality in America. The beginning of the end. Why did I say the beginning of the end and not the end? Because we know that the road to freedom is long. I knew that this deeply embedded racism in this policing and criminal injustice system, it's not an overnight thing, but nothing is too hard for God. Nothing is too hard for the people of faith. Nothing is too hard for those who believe. Nothing is too hard for the people who will not rest until love rules the day. It's not too hard. So I said to him, it's the beginning of the end of police brutality. And I personally am not willing to wait until next lifetime. I personally am not willing to wait until another Tamir Rice is killed in 5 seconds in the park. I'm not willing to wait, and I hope you're not willing to wait either, because I actually have some good news. We are winning. We're winning. This is what we call the last gasp of a dying man, because just like we're hurt people hurt people. They're afraid because the old way is dying. And sometimes we get confused about what it is we should be fighting against. I can't tell you how many people are talking about the protesters, talking about the rebellion, confusing property rights with human rights. When they say to you, oh, it's horrible that a man got killed, but destroying property has to stop. You tell them that they have it backwards. It is unfortunate that property is being destroyed, but killing innocent people has got to stop. That's what you tell them. This is not the time to split hairs over broken windows. That is not what is important here. Dr. King told us that the riots were the voices of the unheard people. This is who we are. We are the unheard people, and we are not going away. We are actually winning. I talked to my grandmother and my elders, and they say, I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen so many people coming out from so many different races. I've never seen it just being shown on television every day right in front of our faces what the problem is. We get to see it. People are showing up for peaceful protests and being tear gassed and bombed. They say they're calling in the National Guard, and what I happen to know is some of them are saying, we're not going. Because we're winning now. We are the majority. And I'll tell you the moment that I had, because like everybody else, I didn't know what to say about the property destruction. I didn't like it. When we called the first Oscar Grant rally, we was very clear, this is a peaceful protest. And then folks came in and started burning up cars, and I was at home because I went home after the peaceful protest. And one of my advisors said to me, you have to make a statement to condemn this, to let people know we do not support this. And that made sense to me, so I went out just like some of you are going out and saying, I condemn this action. We are for peaceful, nonviolent protests. But then some of my fellow organizers in the community, they came to me and they said, no, no, no. That's not what you do. And I sat down with an anarchist. You know, y'all try to refer to people as Antifa now because like it's something wrong with being anti-fascist. Ain't that what it stands for? Are you pro-fascist? What's the problem here? Anyway, so I sat down with a brother anarchist and he said to me, let me tell you something, young lady. If we hadn't been burning up cars, you wouldn't have been on CNN. Ooh, that hurt my heart. Because I knew it was true. Let me tell you how I knew it was true, because we had been having peace marches in West Oakland every year for as long as I could remember, and it wasn't no cameras there. They run around and talk about, oh, well, you know, how come nobody's mad about what black people are doing to black people in their communities? Are you serious? Like, we haven't been organizing and mentoring and calling attention to and trying to get resources for our people for generations? And let me tell you how much people look away for white-on-white crime. Let's not go there. We into peace and love again. Come on back, Rev. Come on back. And so there came a time in the movement for me when I began to realize that I just had a different role to play. It wasn't my job to condemn the people who were in the work of rebellion. That wasn't my job. My job was to figure out what is mine to do, and that's what I want to invite you to do today, to figure out not how to criticize people who are doing something when you are sitting home and doing very little. That's what we got? That's what we rolling with? Oh, what I'm going to do is criticize the people who aren't doing it right. Well, if anybody had been doing it right enough to stop it from happening, then people wouldn't be out there. We have tried everything. And if this is what wakes people up, Thich Nhat Hanh, who you love. So you love all the people until you find out that they are with us. Thich Nhat Hanh says anger is our baby. It's a wake-up call. We have to take care of it. And my mentor, Reverend Deborah Johnson, says it's a fire triangle. Let me teach you about the fire triangle now. In order for a fire to exist, it has to have 3 elements. A fire has to have heat. It's got to have that spark, the thing, as we like to say, that sets it off. It's got to have fuel, something that sustains it and keeps it going. And it's got to have oxygen. When you put oxygen in a fire, it just flames up. So this is what we have to do now. We have to build a fire that will warm and purify every single one of us. So we're going to start with the heat. That's what's happening right now. We're turning up the heat in the world, and it's okay. It's okay to have a spark. We're talking about, oh, we're so afraid of anger. We're so afraid of anger. That's not what's happening now. That's not what's happening now. That's not what's happening. What we're doing is we are recognizing that we have the same legacy as Moses, who came down off Mount Sinai, and we will destroy these false idols of capitalism just like Moses broke the tablets coming down out of Mount Sinai when he saw the idols. We, like Jesus, will take the whip to these corrupt money changers and throw them out of the temples and the mosques and the centers in our midst. We will not tolerate this corruption of hate and oppression. But we will also have fuel. We will sustain our movement with love and support and peace. We will sustain ourselves by loving each other enough to keep that commitment. Don't try to do this alone. There are so many people coming together. People are asking me all the time, well, how do I talk to this person who doesn't care, who doesn't get it? This is what I want to say to you, don't. Because there are hundreds of thousands of us who do care and do get it, and it only takes a few committed people to change the world. So let's just get together and support each other and love each other, because it's a myth. It's just a small minority that are practicing hate. And hate has no power over us. Let me tell you something. Everybody's so upset about Trump, and I understand that, but only 30% of people over 18 voted for Donald Trump. 30%. Half the people who are over 18 didn't even vote. Well, 42% didn't vote. It's not a majority. That's what we're showing in the streets. We have the power to sustain this movement with our faith, with our love, with our vision for justice, and that is where the oxygen comes in. See, the oxygen is that vision of the future. My friend Van Jones likes to say Dr. King had a dream, not a complaint. See, he wasn't just trying to get us off the back of the bus. What he talked about was little white children and black children holding hands. That was an impossible idea in his time. He wasn't just looking for a small little incremental reform. He was looking for a revolution. Just like Gandhi before him and Jesus before him. See, the peace bringers brought it with clarity of a vision of something great. This is the oxygen for our movement. A friend asked me the other day, he said, Dereca, what do you think is happening in the world? And I said to him, the old way is dying. Its systems are shutting down. It's fighting for its very survival. See, the last thing a fire needs is oxygen. That's what it needs to survive. And we can be that vision, that visionary. We can be that ones that says, I know and trust and believe in the power of good to conquer all. All I have to do is keep my eye on the prize. All I have to do is know that I know that I know that there is a power for good in the universe and I can use it. This is how we got thus far. My friend Susan Taylor, my mentor, my mother, she says, this is not the rough side of the mountain. I just laid it out for you at the beginning. Look at what we got through. It is darkest before the dawn. Here we are. All we have to do is keep pushing, and we will come together like the one people that we are. And we will shout down the walls of racism and oppression like they shouted down the walls of Jericho. And we will take our love as our shield, and we will take our faith, and we will bring with peace and passion the word and the will of the divine. We will embody it, and we will rise up and walk with God.
Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up and walk with God. Rise up, rise up, rise up, know, yeah. Don't you know you got to rise up? Yeah. Don't you know you got to rise up every day now? Don't you know you got to rise up in the morning? Don't you know you got to rise up and walk with God?
And I just invite you to take this time to turn within, because there is a still small voice inside of us that knows and knows that it knows that God is truly the only power in our lives, and nothing from without can touch the perfect life of God within me. God is greater than any of these circumstances in our country. God is perfect and powerful and peaceful and filled with love. God is the source. It's the truth about who I am and who you are. And honestly, it's the truth about who every single person is. And that is the good news. The good news is that there is someone, something in everyone that is worthy of praise, worthy of calling forth, worthy of knowing that even this can be transformed. And I know that I am that thing. I am like a cup from the ocean, all the things that God is. I am full of that power and that peace that passes all understanding. I am full of love. And that love gives me the presence, the power to practice forgiveness. And so I declare, Reverend Dereca Blackmon, I declare right now that a change is here. It's not coming, it's here. The time is right now. Everything that we've been waiting for and hoping for, all we have to do is stay the course, because everything is different. It's already different in the mind of God. It's different in my mind. Let it be different in your mind, because there's only one of us, and that one of us includes all the people that we call them. And so I call forth that power that activates change in everyone, that changes a hateful heart into a surrender heart. I call forth that power that says, I don't have to do it all. I don't have to carry my anger as it consumes me from the inside. I can ground myself in the rising of my ancestors. Like dust, I still rise. There is nothing that your hatred can do to me that I cannot overcome. There is nothing that we can't become together, because we are already one. And so I'm just giving thanks that I know that truth. I'm giving thanks that I believe in the power of love. I'm giving thanks for my spiritual awareness that said God is all there is. I'm giving thanks for this opportunity. I'm giving thanks for this opportunity to express my love for my friends and colleagues that are out there with tear gas in their eyes. I want to express my love for every police officer that lays down a shield and keeps it down. I want to express my love for every person who's speaking out on social media and donating to causes. I want to express my gratitude and my love for the change that people are allowing themselves to be, for the education that we're getting about each other, for the willingness to know that we don't know, but God knows, and therefore the victory is already done. I want to give thanks for the power and the presence of good and love that never dies, never leaves, never expires. And I turn this word over to the power of the law that must perfect what I declare. See, we believe in a law. We believe that God is a source of good that I can use, because I understand the way that the spiritual law works. It says, if I stand in alignment, that all that good is, that all that God is, when I plant this mustard seed of faith, there is no time or space in God right now. I'm changed. And because you're here with me, you're changed. And because you go out into the world, it's changed. And that change is happening as I speak in mosques and temples and street corners and centers and churches all over this world. And so I just get out the way. And and allow God to do what it's been trying to do through us for centuries. I surrender. I remember who and whose I am, and I let go. And I invite you to join me by sealing this prayer by saying, Ashe, Amen, and so it is. Rise up. Thank you for our women's ensemble led by Sharon D. Henderson and Martha Mangle, Deborah Tisdale, Fabiana Crenshaw, Mark Rickey on keys, Lee Henderson on bass. Our women's ensemble reminds us to rise up. I want to thank Ona Afre, who so beautifully set the tone and intention for our service, and our virtual prayer team, Christine Schaefer on vigil, and Yamin Ja Huff on the prayer box, and our coordinator, Al Gibson. There's so many people that are coming together for this service, and if you want to join us in this East Bay community and celebrate our rising up with your gracious gift, we appreciate it. We know that so many of you have just answered the call to give and support those who have been working for freedom and justice for decades. We hope you will count us in that number and join us for all of the work that we do to provide spaces of safety and prayer, to provide food in our community, to provide education and peace and meditation. We want you to be a part of this ministry, not just on Sunday, but all the days. So you can see all the options on your screen to text, to give online, to mail in a check. You can also join us by giving a recurring gift that allows us to count on you and know that we can build from the foundation that you help us provide. I want you to know that we will have announcements at the end of this broadcast, and I want to stress two of them to you. Prayer is available. We don't have to be alone in this. Some of us are so sad. Some of us feel hopeless. Some of us feel helpless. Some of us just want to do something. Some of us just need somebody to be with us. And so prayer is available after service today, and then on an ongoing basis, our practitioners, our prayer warriors are willing to sit with you. There'll be private breakout rooms after service where someone will pray with you. We are holding a sacred space every day. At 11 and 12:30, you can join us. More information will be at the end of the service. And we have classes. We're going to talk about having an abundant life, envisioning, and meditation. Because we need the good to fill up our cup if we're going to sustain this work. And we are. We're going to sustain this work. And so, this is our time has come to an end. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being here with us. I know it was a lot today, but I believe that truth will set us free. And we are free in our consciousness already. And this is the moment where we join the entire planet in our collective liberation. So thank you so much for being with us. I just want to send you out a blessing as you go out into your day and the world. Let us be a blessing to you and you be a blessing to everyone you encounter. I give thanks for the fact that you were here and that you and I are one. And I let it be. And I say, and so it is. And now I invite our women's ensemble to close us out with one more glorious song. Here they are with Glory.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the peace is won, we can be sure. We can be sure. Oh, glory.
Glory.
Oh,
Glory.
oh, glory.
Glory.
Oh, glory.
Glory.
I say glory.
Glory.
Oh,
Glory.
oh, glory.
Glory.
Oh, glory.
Glory.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the peace is won, we can be sure. We can be sure. Oh, glory,
Glory.
oh,
Glory.
oh,
Glory.
oh, glory,
Glory.
oh, glory,
Glory.
oh,
Glory.
oh, glory,
Glory.
oh, glory.
Glory.
Now the war is not over, victory isn't won, and we'll fight on to the finish, and when it's all done, we cry glory,
Glory.
oh glory,
Glory.
oh glory,
Glory.
oh glory,
Glory.
we cry glory,
Glory.
oh glory,
Glory.
oh glory, oh one day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the peace is won, we can be sure. We can be sure. Oh, glory,
Glory.
oh,
Glory.
oh, glory,
Glory.
oh,
Glory.
we cry glory,
Glory.
oh,
Glory.
oh, glory,
Glory.
oh, glory,
Glory.
we cry glory,
Glory.
Hi, my name is Robert, and some things I like to do when I'm at home in quarantine is I like to wake up later. I like to hang out with my family. I like to be with my dog. That's pretty fun, and yeah, I'm excited of working at home. It's kind of cool. There's no distractions in class, sometimes I'm a distraction, but still.
Hi, my name is Gio, and some things that I like about sheltering in place is getting to have different foods instead of having cafeteria food, and like I'm kind of designing my room now, and doing like things that you can't do at school. So like I like hanging out with my dog because you're not allowed to have your dogs at school, and hanging out with my family.